I'm Paul Major.
And I'm Diana Pierce. Coming up on News 11, a grand jury clears Minneapolis police in a botched drug raid that killed 2 people.
Snow that's icing up the highways tonight is just the beginning of what could be our biggest snowfall of the winter.
When it snows in March, it's usually tournament time. We'll tell you about an international flavor this year.
And we'll meet some men who've gotten away from it all, cruising the Florida Keys. News 11 is next.
Express mail from your post office offers you guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver, we deliver.
Saturday service at no extra charge.
We deliver, we deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver, we deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
Mom, when Columbus discovered America, did his mom say, put it back? These are Jell-O pudding sticks. Delicious Jell-O pudding in a cup. No artificial flavors or colors, and fasten that seatbelt, Mom. 70% skim milk. What do you say we pick up 12 or 13? 2. 2 is doable.
Jell-O pudding snacks. Pretty smart for a kid. Panasonic video. All on sale. 3 days only at Best Buy. Panasonic televisions and VCR. Panasonic camcorders. All on sale. Thursday through Saturday, Best Buy's 3-day video sale. Top name brands on sale at Best Buy.
Now, the Twin Cities' most watched newscast, News 11. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11, what could be our biggest snowfall of the winter is bearing down on Minnesota right now. And before it's over Saturday, we may be digging out from as much as 10 inches of snow.
There's a winter storm watch for Minnesota tomorrow, and highway travel is expected to be treacherous.
Already the snow is causing problems for motorists in the metro area. The driver of this car was traveling eastbound on Interstate 94 when the car spun out after hitting an icy patch near Highway 280. State Patrol has handled more than a dozen calls for accidents in the metro area, and troopers say the roads will get worse overnight, and they are not advising any travel.
Paul Douglas joins us in the backyard a little early tonight with more on this storm. Paul?
Boy, oh boy, Paul, and I think 11 Country is going to be one vast demolition derby tomorrow. It probably will be the biggest snowstorm, certainly of the winter so far. We had 5 inches of snow back in November, and here tonight, tomorrow, we do expect at least 5 inches, maybe as much as 10. Let's check the latest map, show you where it's snowing right now. A finger of snow poking across South Dakota, the heaviest amounts in southwestern and west central, and parts of central Minnesota, too. Already they've picked up 8 inches of snow in parts of southwestern Minnesota, down around Worthington, Ortonville, Fairmont. There, they'll see at least a foot of snow. Now, we are under a snow advisory tonight with winter storm warnings in effect for southwestern Minnesota. Tomorrow, that changes to a winter storm watch, and I have a feeling that's going to be upgraded to a warning by the Weather Service. I still feel comfortable with a grand total of 5 to 10 on the ground by Saturday morning when it should begin to peter out to just flurries. Paul and I will have a complete weather wrap-up in just a few minutes for you.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it looks like we can chalk this up as another state tournament snowstorm because the hockey tournament is this weekend in St. Paul before this month of March Madness is over. Nearly $8 million will be spent in St. Paul. Nearly all the hotel rooms in St. Paul are booked this weekend, and some, like the Radisson, hired extra staff and security. Other St. Paul businesses stand to profit from the tournaments as well. Twin Cities Magic and Costume Company is the place where creative fans buy the makeup to paint their faces and pom-poms to cheer on their teams. The owners say business increases 30% during March.
The hockey tournament also had a bit of international flair tonight. A group of Soviet exchange students attending South St. Paul High School did their part to cheer on the school's team, the Packers. The students have only been in Minnesota for a few weeks, but already they're acting like Minnesota sports fans.
I think that our team, the Packers, will win, and I hope this. And I'm a fan of Packers.
The students say American hockey games are similar to ones played in Russia, but the fans are just a bit louder. A team that made one of the longest trips to St. Paul was International Falls, who traveled nearly 300 miles for their state tournament appearance. Today, the Bronco hockey players sat in the Civic Center stands watching this afternoon's games, but that changed tonight when they took the ice against South St. Paul. News 11's Christy Arndt is in International Falls tonight to show us what the cold weather capital is like on game night.
March winds can send chills through even the hardiest soul here in the nation's icebox. It's a wintertime challenge. Everyone tries to stay warm.
But you just kind of get used to it and learn to live with it.
But today there's something warming hearts in the Falls. The hockey team's in the state tournament. This town has Bronco fever. Quiet rules at the high school library were lifted. TVs were brought in to monitor the competition.
It's just great. Kind of float through school. Don't do a whole lot of homework or anything.
Everybody's just so high right now because they're making this state, and they've been playing really well lately.
And this exhorted on those International Falls Broncos.
John Hall even brought a television with him to work at the local radio station.
This means everything. Well, no, maybe not everything.
Well, it's game time. The temperature? 1 above 0, and there's not many people around. That's because those left in town snuggled up to the nearest TV. They watched as their dream lived on, the hope for their first state hockey championship in 17 years. In International Falls, Christy Arndt, News 11.
And with their win tonight, the Broncos now face the winner of tonight's War Road Jefferson game and tomorrow night's semifinal game. And coming up in our Pret Sports Extra, we'll have highlights from all of today's games and have a look at tomorrow's matchups.
Students at a college in the Twin Cities are still up in arms over tuition increases, and a scene reminiscent of the protests in the 60s. Students at the College of St. Thomas staged a sit-in today. They're demanding that a double-digit increase in tuition be reduced to a single-digit increase. College leaders point to surveys saying that St. Thomas's tuition is no higher than comparable private schools. A grand jury decision late today could lead to more protests among the Minneapolis black community. The grand jury decided no charges should be filed against police officers after a botched drug bust led to 2 deaths. Melissa Young has the story.
What started out as a routine crack bust turned into a deadly inferno. 71-year-old Lloyd Smalley and 65-year-old Lillian Weiss died after being caught in the blaze. Late today, a Hennepin County grand jury returned a no bill, meaning no criminal charges will be filed against the police involved in the case. Police investigators were pleased.
I feel that after having conducted the investigation that their decision was entirely correct.
But black community leaders were disappointed. They say it only reinforces the notion that the justice system does not serve blacks.
But I guess I'm appalled that 2 innocent lives could be lost and there is no accountability.
Tonight, residents in that neighborhood were also outraged. Lloyd Smalley was a regular customer at Sam's No. 1 Dairy. Here, the talk is still about that night.
They just killed 2 people for nothing, and no crime just because they're officers, and this is wrong.
I don't think it's fair. I think they should be charged.
The remains of the botched raid are a constant reminder here of the loss, and many fear today's grand jury decision will only bring about more unrest in this community. Melissa Young, News 11, Minneapolis.
2 other investigations into the incident are underway, one by the police department's internal affairs unit and a separate one by the FBI that was just sent to Washington, D.C. today.
An investigation is underway into the cause of a fire that killed a 46-year-old New Hope man. Stephen Neff was killed when a blaze broke out in his duplex on Bass Creek Circle just after 9 this morning. The fire was confined to the bedroom with smoke damage throughout the 2nd floor. Authorities say Neff was the only person in the duplex at the time of the fire. 2 Sears employees at the Brookdale store were taken to the hospital tonight for smoke inhalation. A fire started in the storage room on the loading dock just after 8 p.m. The store was evacuated. No word yet on how the fire started. A gunman the FBI says robbed 3 banks in last month in Minneapolis, allegedly hit another bank today. We showed you these pictures on Tuesday night that show the gunman entering the Camden branch of Norwest Bank. Today, the target was the First Bank of the Lakes at 3100 Hennepin, which was robbed just after 2:30 this afternoon. The suspect is described as a black male, about 5 feet 6 to 5'8", 150 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. A $5,000 reward is being offered for his arrest. If you have any information, please call the FBI at 339-7861.
The Chanhassen Planning Commission has okayed a plan for the Eckankar religious group to build a church complex. before the commission approved the permit, 4-1 last night. The commissioners heard 2 hours of pleas. They came from Chanhassen residents who fear the church would lower property values and bring a cult to their community. The Chanhassen City Council still has to approve the permit. There's a lot more to come tonight on News 11. Paul Douglas will be back to tell us more about all the snow that's headed our way.
Also coming up, we'll forget about winter for a while and go sailing in the Florida Keys.
And there was some bitter debate in the Senate chambers today as the tower nomination is discussed.
Listen to how farmers use Eradicane that make it just as easy to work with as Dual or Lasso. Bennett?
I played Eradicane with 28% nitrogen and made 2 passes with the field cultivator. The performance is just unbelievable, and it worked much better than the Dual I incorporated.
And you, Jerry?
My dealer impregnated Eradicane on dry fertilizer and made 2 passes with the field cultivator. I was making a tillage pass before I incorporated Lasso anyway.
Eradicane is workable. See your dealer.
It's a decoration celebration at Menards. Save 50% right now on all Berkeley and other pre-pasted wallpaper in stock. Choose from over 200 beautiful patterns on sale now at half price. Tile Pack ceramic tile is on sale too. Save on rich mosaic tiles with web backing for easy installation. Now just $1.59 per square foot. Decorate, celebrate, and save at Menards.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
Comparing the Nissan Sentra to the Toyota Corolla raises some interesting differences. The Sentra has more room. It has a bigger engine, more standard features, and it's sticker priced about $400 less. Looks like this comparison is a dead issue. The Nissan Sentra. See your Nissan dealer now for up to $500 dealer cash incentive.
Here you go. You really know how to impress your clients, huh? I mean, who needs conference rooms when you can have this kind of togetherness? Hey, what are you guys doing? Training for submarine duty?
Who are you?
You should have stayed at Holiday Inn. They have everything you need for a perfect meeting, and they'll guarantee it. Or stay here, lose the account, your job, your house, your car, your dog. Check out 10 minutes.
Why take chances? Stay with someone you know. Holiday Inn.
Tonight in Dateline, snow in Seattle, Eastern machinists prepare for a strike, and the talk on Tower turns bitter today. In the Senate chambers, senators began what promises to be a long and dramatic debate on John Tower's defense nomination. The first to speak was Sam Nunn, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, who's leading the fight against Tower. Debate resumes Tuesday, but a Senate vote will happen Wednesday at the earliest. In Miami, machinists for Eastern Airlines removed some of their tools from the airline's headquarters today. The Friday midnight strike deadline is drawing closer, but today there was a sign of movement in talks between the airline and the machinists union. Eastern pilots say if there is a strike, they'll honor machinist picket lines. However, a federal judge in St. Paul today said Northwest Airlines union members cannot take part in a sympathy strike in support of Eastern workers. And in Seattle, residents had to deal with a rare snowfall. About a half a foot fell in the city, closing the airport for a while today and making travel treacherous. However, the snow was a treat for kids who took the day off from school to play around in the white stuff.
It is kind of rare out there.
I only remember it snowing once, the entire time I was in college out there, which was, well, 15 years after you graduated.
So you finally made it through school, yeah.
So they must have like 5 plows in the whole city or something? I mean, they're not really set up
sometimes they
for
have to borrow them from Eastern Washington.
Really?
Aren't there hills? So they would have...
Seattle's very hilly,
yeah. Have little trouble driving through that.
Yeah.
Well, we are faced with a plow-bending, shovel-busting snowfall for much of Minnesota. I have mixed feelings. I think we all do. Obviously, it's going to be a hassle, Paul and I, getting from point A to point B tomorrow. Give yourself lots of extra time. The upside is farmers are smiling. A multi-million-dollar snowfall, precious moisture. They've already had 8 inches in parts of southwestern Minnesota where they need it the most. So there's some good news in all of this. You ask, what do you need to get land-based to get plastered with heavy snow in Minnesota? Let's check Mr. Computer and show you. First off, you need lots of Arctic air, and we have that. Needless to say, temperatures stunted in the single numbers. In fact, the colder it is when you start off with a snowstorm, the greater the potential for heavy amounts. You also need upper-level jet stream winds howling from the southwest from Texas. This is what the upper winds are forecast to be tomorrow evening at this time, screaming from the southwest, allowing Gulf moisture to come bubbling northward. And as it rides up and over this cold dome, the result is going to be copious snow. You also need a storm track south and east of Minnesota. That storm is in about Idaho. It's going to track down towards Denver and Kansas, intensify, and then pull off to the north and east over the weekend. Bottom line, travel conditions will get progressively worse over the next 24 hours. There's been a little bit of a lull in the action now, but we do expect conditions to improve long about tomorrow night and Saturday. Until then, it's going to be slow going. And again, just give yourself a lot of extra time to get around tomorrow. Let's check tonight's winning weather spy. This is what glaze ice, freezing rain can do to tree branches and tree limbs. Look at that off to the left. There may be a little ice mixed in parts of southeastern Minnesota tomorrow. Thanks to Tom and Char. I'm not even going to try. They're from Roberts, Wisconsin. Annunciata, a high today of 5, a low of -1, about an inch of snow so far. Right now, light snow in the backyard, 5 degrees, a northeast wind at 12 miles an hour, the wind chill -16, the humidity 82, the barometer 30.08 and falling. Okay, from outer space, yes, it has let up for now, but it's going to pick up later tonight. More enhanced clouds moving eastward across the plains, and as this upper air disturbance interacts with that strong front over Minnesota, the snow is going to pile up at the rate of an inch every 2 or 3 hours from later tonight right through tomorrow. Lots of thick enhanced cloudiness to our south. Let's check the latest map, and you can see there's that cold Arctic high. Here's the storm, and as it tracks off to the south, it's going to throw that shield of heavy snow northward into Minnesota. And there's going to be a good 2 to 4 inches of snow on the ground when you wake up tomorrow morning. The snow will continue right through tomorrow evening. Some drying over the weekend. We'll have that weekend forecast and count up the inches for tomorrow coming up next.
Eradicate is workable without making more trips across the field. How'd it work for you, Ken?
My dealer applied the Eradicate, and we worked it in with a soil finisher. Saves us a trip. I was real surprised at the performance we got because it was so dry. Eradicate does a real good job on the foxtail.
Hey, Jack, how about you?
This is my first year with Eradicate. I sprayed it on unworked bean stubble with a combination tillage tool. It's a lot less work. I've made up my mind. Eradicate's better than Dual.
Eradicate is workable. See your dealer.
It's time to stock up and save with great values on frozen foods. Clip the coupons from national manufacturers and redeem them anywhere during March Frozen Food Month. See your Sunday paper.
Hi.
You wore that to the office?
Yeah.
You must have gotten a lot of compliments.
Yeah.
I mean, guy-type compliments. You know, from guys.
Yeah.
You still love me?
Yeah.
Don't wear that to the office anymore.
I've been looking forward to this dinner for a long time.
We'd like to dedicate this commercial to all those mothers who spent all those years making all those dinners for their families. Introducing Down Home Dinners from Perkins. 6 complete home-style dinners, each served with our deluxe dinner salad and priced from just $4.99. Unfortunately, your mother probably didn't cook like this every night. We, on the other hand, do.
Yep, it's snowing. You're seeing the old-fashioned radar right now, looking out the window. Let's check the current Doppler. Snow doesn't show up very well on radar, but we're picking up some light snow around the metro. And again, it's going to pick up in intensity as the night goes on tonight. Temperatures, for the most part, in the single numbers. So we check the very latest map again. You can see that snow band picking up again. It's South Dakota and southwestern Minnesota. By morning, there's going to be enough to shovel and plow for sure. Snow advisory tonight. Heavier snow as the night goes on. Slick roads. Temperatures rising through the single numbers. Tomorrow, that winter storm watch. Before it's all said and done, before the snow tapers off late Friday night, I think 5 to 10 inches. At least 5. In some sections, we'll see as much as 10, especially in southwestern Minnesota. 14 to 19 tomorrow. Flurries Saturday. It starts to clear out a little bit on Sunday. Maybe some flurries in here Monday. Temperatures trending upward well into the 20s next week. The long-range computers hint at maybe a shot at 30 next week. Woo! Nah. Who needs it?
Yeah, we'll see
this
you later.
Is fun. See ya.
Today on News 11 at 5, we told you how colon cancer has a strong genetic link and who is susceptible to developing the disease. And as our series on colon cancer continues tomorrow on News 11 Sunrise and again at 5, I'll look at the link between diet and the disease and how what you eat can actually prevent you from getting colon cancer.
Still to come on News 11, imagine what it would be like to leave on your dream voyage tomorrow.
We'll tell you about 2 Minnesotans and a Wisconsin man who are going to do just that.
About to give up on you. Where have you been?
Parking. What a mess.
Not if you park at Easy Air Park.
Easy Air Park chauffeurs you from your car to your airline in just minutes. No more worrying about missing your flight. Easy Air Park provides parking, round trip to your airline, 24-hour-a-day security, and guaranteed free starting, all for only $5 a day. South of 494 at 35E in Lexington. Call 777-PARK.
Now there's a book that has it all. So call 1-800-432-TRIP for your free Wisconsin guidebook and read all about it.
Here's this week's News 11 Express schedule. St. Paul Route 35A from White Bear Lake to St. Paul. Leaves Bel Air Road and County Road F at 6:54 a.m. McKnight at 17th Avenue at 7:16. Arrives at 4th and Wabasha at 7:42. Join KARE 11 in MTC for the News 11 Express.
Plays all oldies all the time. Cool 108.
Farmers across the Corn Belt are doing it right. Like Tim and Tom Davis, champions in the National Corn Growers Association Yield Contest. 33 growers across the nation won with 15 different new Northrop King hybrids. Congratulations to all our winners and to all corn growers who are doing it right with the new Northrop King.
We did it, Daddy.
With the new Northrop King.
We're doing it right for you.
All of us at one time or another have thought about taking off and chasing a dream, but jobs, kids, and a variety of other commitments seem to keep most of us from ever living our dreams.
However, two Twin Cities men and a third from Wisconsin will begin living their dream tomorrow.
They plan to sail around the world, and News 11's Bernie Grace, along with photographer Tom Empey, went on the crew's final practice sail off the Florida coast before the worldwide voyage begins.
Another farm fallen on hard times. The barn is empty, the cattle taken away. The Friedenfeld Central Wisconsin farm was foreclosed on. One of the Friedenfelds, the time seemed right to leave the windswept prairies to the windswept waters of the Atlantic.
Anchor all the way up for me, Randy?
Randy Friedenfels grabbed at the chance when he was asked to join two others from the Twin Cities area in a voyage around the world. And there were comparisons to be drawn between farming and sailing.
Farming wasn't an easy life. Sailing's not a real easy life. They both give you the best of being outdoors and being independent. I guess that's worth quite a bit.
Okay. Don Saxton is part owner of the boat. He grew up in Burnsville. Now, far from the Norwest Tower offices he helped build, Don's ready to sail.
We truly enjoy sailing. It's a great way to travel around, meet other people, and it's what makes me happy, and that's what a person should do.
Don bought the 40-foot boat 3 years ago. In its last shakedown sail before they set sail around the world, the other owner of the boat was skipper for the day. He says after 4 months of preparation, the boat's ready to go.
Some people spend years getting ready to go to make major ocean crossings and to take a boat around the world like we plan on doing, and we put it together in a fairly short amount of time.
Business matters will keep Joe Pohl from making the trip. Instead, St. Louis Park engineer Bob Bullock will take his place. Despite their distance from Minneapolis, there's plenty on board to remind them of their roots. Even the water purification system was made in Minneapolis. Salt water taken straight from the ocean is purified for drinking.
The thing is incredible. It means self-sufficiency to us as far as our water needs go.
And even the music on board was recorded by a Minneapolis group, the Wallets. So after years of planning, an adventure most people only dream of is about to begin. They'll be setting sail from the Atlantic, go to the Pacific and beyond, and hopefully back to the Atlantic. It's a voyage that promises many challenges. A voyage that easily will take 2 years. And while it starts more than 1,500 miles from home in Miami, if all goes well in the end, the Shimoda and its 3-man crew should sail back to Minnesota through the Great Lakes. Off the Florida coast, I'm Bertie Grace, News 11.
Over the next few weeks, we'll update the progress the 3 sailors are making. Or I should say that Bernie will probably update the progress the 3 sailors are
He
making.
always gets the good assignments, doesn't he?
Yeah, he always weasels his way into it. Of course, when they arrive in Duluth, that's when he'll let someone else go.
Oh, right, at that point.
Yeah.
Coming up in sports, the city of Orlando drives home a point to the Twins.
And the Gophers go on the road to face Illinois, still looking for their first Big Ten victory away from home. Tom Ryder.